Oh, nothing. Just rocking the Heisenberg t-shirt from Hot Topic that I bought just a couple of hours ago. Yes, that's right. If you cannot already tell, after season 2, I am absolutely obsessed with the show. I absolutely love it. Yeah, we're talking about Breaking Bad here. Breaking Bad season 2. I finally started watching the show. In fact, I put my first review of the first season on with the Boys season 1 review. And I believe it was a Mandalorian season 1 review. Yeah, it was a Mandalorian season 1 review. And now here I am, and I want to do a review series. I don't even know why I can bind that one with that, but it's fine. Season 1 is the weirdest season by far. I'm way behind. I actually watched this season several weeks ago, and then I have like 3 episodes until I'm done with season 3, so you're basically going to get a double feature, but I want to do a separate video for each of them, because if you cannot tell, Breaking Bad is my favorite show of all time. I love the shirt, I love the show, I love the characters, I love everything about that show so far. What did I think of this season? I'm going to go in more depth here in a little bit. Obviously, there's spoilers. If you're like me and never watched Breaking Bad before a couple months ago, I recommend you go watch that show like right now. Then you come back to me to watch my Breaking Bad season 2 review, and then go and watch season 1 review. Basically, just to recap, because a lot of people didn't watch that video. I think I only have like 2 views on it. I didn't love the season. When it got into the core thing where Jesse and Walt are making meth, I think that's when the show was at its best. And then the rest of the series, it's kind of just like, okay, yeah, it's an introduction. There's only 7 episodes. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in there. So clearly, it is a clear introduction to the show, a clear pilot season. Had a bunch of issues with the writing. It's just trying to figure out some things that they never did. And so that way, at the end of the season, I was saying, yeah, I see why people say this is so good, because it got so good. But it wasn't until I started season 2 to where I truly noticed the masterpiece behind Breaking Bad. Yeah, this show, 11 out of 10 masterpiece, especially this season. Kicking off with the positives, we're going to start with the cast of characters. Now, we don't even have to talk about the cast. It's all great. Bryan Cranston, absolutely phenomenal in this role. He started out with Malcolm in the Middle, and I watched a couple episodes of that, and I was like, wow, that man can act, because that is not Walter White in that show. This is Walter White here, and he is absolutely incredible. Aaron Paul, obviously, he was my standout in season 1, and it's crazy because I didn't love Walt in season 1. I loved him so much in this one to where Jesse, even though he has the longest running arc, even in season 3, he doesn't have that big of an arc. This season, he definitely has that arc here, and I do love Aaron Paul. I almost said Aaron Taylor Johnson. I do love Aaron Paul's performance with the character. And both of them, Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, they both have great chemistry with each other. I loved their chemistry. I loved how everything that they did, there was a back and forth with each other. That was MCU level chemistry. These are 2 actors that I would love to see more things in, because besides Breaking Bad, I have never seen Aaron Paul in anything, and Bryan Cranston's only been in TV. I would love to see these characters go to like a franchise like the MCU. Maybe even in it together, because both of these actors had outstanding chemistry with them. Gunn, I think it's Anna Gunn, she plays Skyler, and Skyler, we all know, is an absolute turd. Everybody hates Skyler. I hate Skyler. And that is what makes her performance so good. Gunn's performance is absolutely shockingly good, because she makes you hate her character, because she plays it so well. And only so well can you play a character to just make me sit back and be like, I hate that character. And I hate Skyler. I really do. We start off the season with ending the plot that season 1 had. Season 1 would have been great to have 9 episodes and have these first 2 episodes in, because I absolutely loved these episodes, and I absolutely loved how they finished it off. So if you don't know, season 1, we start out with Walt and Jesse going to cook meth. They got to find a way to distribute it. So they go to this man named Tuco Salamanca, and he turns out to be an absolute psycho. He's absolutely crazy. And throughout season 1, we just now begin to see the danger. I mean, he kicked the can out of Jesse. Jesse almost died. He was in the hospital because of Tuco. And then the next we know, at the end of season 1, the last shot, he brutally beats up a man for just saying basically nothing. He says to Walt and Jesse, don't get out of line. And then Tuco brutally beats him for saying that. That is how dangerous Tuco is. And so we go on and we kick things off, and Tuco is never really that big part of the show, but the performance was just so effective and scary. Tuco, even with Gustavo Fring is great as in season 3. Tuco Salamanca is even better. I just loved how terrifying this villain is. And throughout his arc, throughout the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2, Tuco's arc is great. Actually, season 2, episode 2, is probably my favorite episode of television. I have never been impacted by that much of a television episode. I sat back and I was terrified. I was terrified for Walter White. I was terrified for Jesse Pinkman. There's 4 more seasons to go. Or, yeah, the rest of the season and season 3, 4, and 5, they're not going to die, but I thought they were going to die just because of how great Tuco Salamanca is as a villain. The performance is absolutely terrifying, and this arc that they had, absolutely perfect. And it also begins the arc of Hank, and Hank, who is, he kills Tuco, and all of a sudden, he starts going through this PTSD. So he goes to Texas, he watches a bunch of people explode, he starts going through all this PTSD from being a cop and having it wear on him, begins his arc, and just the effect that Tuco has so many arcs, especially on Hank. Hank comes, he kills a guy, he gets PTSD, and then season 3, I'm not really supposed to talk about season 3, that's for another video coming probably next week. Season 3, Tuco's cousins attempt to kill Hank, which then puts Hank on, I think, another big, long journey. Of course, I'm only on like 2 episodes after the attack, so I don't really know much past then. But he is just attacked, and all of the things that Tuco did has the effects on Hank, has the effects on Walt, has the effects on Jesse, and especially that second episode, it was genuinely terrifying. The more we go throughout the show after the first 2 episodes, I sat back with myself and I was like, is this going to be interesting? After episode 3, I was like, I don't know if I can take that much, because it just felt like it was going to try to find something it had to do for the rest of the season. Definitely feels like these last 2 episodes should have been at the end of season 1. But the way I'm saying, like, it didn't really seem like season 2 had much of a story. And it really didn't. It just follows the characters as they go through the aftermath of what Tuco did as we head into the finale. There's not a clear villain. There's not clear motives. But what makes this season so effective was that it follows something that I thought was very good about season 1. Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, they both go on a trip to cook meth. That's what the goal of each character was. That's what this season was. It wasn't Walter and Jesse are 2 characters and we're following their home lives. The season mainly focused on Walter White and Jesse Pinkman wanting to cook meth. And sure, it didn't have the clear story. It wasn't... If the show would have had a whole season about Tuco and trying to escape Tuco, that would have felt focused. It wasn't necessarily a focused story, but it was great. This is a season that we had to have to put them on their journey. The focused story in season 3 happened because of how season 2 played out. And season 2 plays out so perfectly well that I just sat back and I was like, wow, this is what needed to happen. And it wasn't even that. It was also very entertaining. We get to meet Saul Goodman for the first time, played excellently by Bob Odenkirk. It's just so well done, I think, how season 1 was just an introduction to the show. Season 2 gets us to season 3 in the most entertaining way possible. Because like I said, I love these characters. I love their chemistry. I was excited to turn on the next episode. And that's weird because normally if something doesn't have a focused story, I can't get it. But I got it because it was 2 likable leads with excellent character arcs. We'll get to that in a minute. That the story is they're cooking meth. And that's what they have to do. They go through problems of cooking meth. The season needed to happen. And it really works for me because it's also just that dang entertaining. Going on, we got the character arcs. Obviously, we talked a little bit about Hank's character arc. Not really loving Hank's character arc. He just feels like he's going through PTSD. Especially starting after he killed Tuco. Honestly, if it started after he saw the people explode, I'd be fine with that. But the Tuco thing was fine, and like I said, Tuco impacted Hank throughout the rest of the show, and I think that was done really well. But it's not my favorite character arc. Obviously, there needs to be character going through some PTSD. It's just something that's on screen for him, and I always call her Karen. I don't remember her name, but it's because she's kind of a Karen. Skylar's sister. Yeah, I forgot her name. Whatever. She's kind of a Karen anyways. Then, like I said, Walter's story arc throughout this season is perfectly well. You see in season 1, he's a character that wants to cook meth so he can supply his family some money. And he doesn't want to hurt nobody, except he just yells at Jesse sometimes. In this season, you see that he knows he's going to die. He knows he is going to die sometime. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to die. So screw this. Screw all of you. I'm going to become the most dangerous man. And you see Bryan Cranston's performance start to turn out as he turns into this Heisenberg character. There's one scene at the end of one of the episodes where he walks into some people trying to cook meth, like in an RV, and he sees them, and he's like, this is my territory, stay the frick out. That's basically exactly what he says. And I think that is just done so well in his character arc. This is the season where he starts to not care, and throughout the rest of the season, he starts to care again, but he just knows he's gonna die. And he knows he wants to leave something behind. And he knows he's not going to have to suffer the consequences in the near future because he knows he's going to die. And that is done perfectly well. And like I said, season 3, Jesse does have kind of a character arc. It's starting to unravel the more we go on. This season, he has a great character arc. He starts out, he's cooking meth with Walter. He falls in love. And that's when his character arc starts. And it ends in the most heartbreaking way possible. I cried after the end of his arc with his girlfriend dying of a drug overdose. That is done so perfectly well, and you feel for his character, and it's very pivotal for his character, and the season is done really well with Jesse's character, and I absolutely love that. Going on to some more positives, I just absolutely love how this show handles grief. We go into here, and you think, you're sitting back, and you're like, this isn't even just like fiction. This is real stuff. I have somebody that is in my family, that's all I'm going to say, that is addicted to drugs. And he is ruining his life. He could have been a great guy. And he's just ruining his life out of drugs. And to watch this and like know that there are actual people out there doing this, it makes the emotions much more impactful, especially when Jesse's girlfriend just dies at the end of it out of a drug overdose. You feel the emotions there. You feel how much impact it had on the rest of the show. You just feel the emotions, and it is done so perfectly well. Not only is the show entertaining, but it does everything great on every technical level. The cast, the writing, the character arcs, the action, the horror, the grief, the emotions. Everything is done so perfectly well. I just love the season. I did have a couple of negatives, and this show's obviously an A+. Each season, I don't necessarily think so far has been an A+. The show as a whole and what it does has been an A+. Each season has its own problems. This season, so far, has the least amount of problems for me. Now, not to say that season 3 has that much problems. Season 3 just has a couple also problems. This season doesn't have that much problems. The first problem is that honestly, the whole plane crashing thing didn't work. You get at the beginning and you think someone's about to go down, and you like, wait, does Skylar die? Does Walt die? Because you see these body bags, and the more we go on, we get little teases of what's going to happen at the end of the season, and then all of a sudden, it's just the father of Jesse's girlfriend is struck by grief because she died, which is done perfectly well, that he causes a plane crash on the same night that he talked to Walt about loving his daughter. It just seems all conventional, like, oh yeah, that happened. And even in season 3, we get Wayfair, like, I forgot the numbers, but we get the Wayfair incident throughout, like, the first 5 episodes, and pretty much right now, it just forgot about the whole incident. It was just, like, something that happened to make you feel the grief even harder. And it didn't necessarily all that work. In fact, the moment the season ended, I was like, I don't know if I'll continue to like that. And I didn't hate it. It just seemed something conventional to end the season on. That is it. That is my only negative. I absolutely love the show. I will absolutely love this show to the end of time. I had so much fun watching this season. I love these characters. I like everything about it. I just think that this was a absolutely incredible season. It's only getting an A, only because I did have that one issue that kind of ended the season off on a conventional note. But even as we go into season 3, just this season I feel like will be at least in my top 2 of the whole Breaking Bad verse, because this season was just so fun to watch. Not only that, but it was just so good and causes... This is a season that needed to happen to cause the rest of the events that will happen in the rest of the show. And not only can I respect that for it, but I will love this season. I can tell that this is easily going to be the most rewatchable season. I really like this season. I really do. I want to know down below, what did you guys think of Breaking Bad Season 2? Like I said, 3 episodes away from Season 3 being finished. My schedule's already stacked. Okay, guys, it's May. I got 3 April movies I got to rank. I got a freaking haul that I gotta do. I mean, I'm way behind. I got Star Wars shows to rank. I got a review for Renfield and Peter Pan and Wendy. I haven't seen Peter Pan and Wendy. I'm watching it tonight, and I'm just gonna combine that with Renfield because, let's be honest, Renfield is also an awesome movie. I love that movie. But I'm just so far behind on videos. Guardians 3 comes out next Friday. I'm going to go see it next week. I mean, we're entering the summer season, and I'm so far behind on videos. I do got a lot coming up. Tomorrow, I will do my ranking of every Star Wars season. And with that said, subscribe, join the Nerd Army. Peace out.